Okay, so I decided I'm making a video for all those people that think it's simple being a mom and that you take for granted all the things that your mother does for you. So this isn't even the touching the surface of it. This is just making goodie bags, right? For the Halloween party. And if you are Cooper's friend, I hope you are a FNAF, FNAF addict because my son is all about FNAF. And whether you're a girl or a boy, I usually do. Everybody that comes to Cooper's parties knows I try to separate and do something a little cuter for the girls. Like there'll be some fun like glittery stuff and things in there, even though there'll still be in FNAF boxes. But that's that's Cooper. So this is just I'm sorry I'm a little bit sick, but this is just me kind of giving you what it's like to be a mom. And this is just the surface because I've already been working on this. Oh, and then you have to have the little trophies for the costumes. But I'm also going to take you and show you also what you have to do for your house. Oh, I don't think I have the FNAF stuff right now. I don't. So I'll show you the house later. But this alone is the start of the goodie bags. And this isn't even this isn't even the surface. And I've already had to do invitations, which I have only scraped the surface on getting the invitations done. Very challenging to have to write out all the invitations, so I went to just printing them. I've used online where you just can email them, and it's always hard being a mom and working and trying to make sure you don't leave anybody out, especially now that I have Peyton's in school and wants his friends to come, then Cooper wants his friends to come, and then as a mom, I want girls to come, so I tell them that they have to invite their girlfriends too. They can't just have all boys. And so it's one of those things. And then I want the parents to come because I like hanging out with the kids' parents, but also it is nice to have those additional eyes, especially when you're having parties of this size where we try to keep our parties to about 50. And that's been very good for home parties, especially on the 4th of July and um, on Halloween. Halloween and 4th of July are like the two big ones. 4th of July kind of smaller, like during the day, the barbecue thing, because the swimming and stuff, you don't want to have too many kids. But Halloween, it's really fun and easy. It's a great holiday to have a party on. We love it that this year it's on a Friday. So what that means for us is that more people will be able to come. Last year, being during the week was a little more challenging because people have school the next day. We do live farther out than most of our friends do, so it is a little bit of a hike to get to our house. But when they come, Halloween's great because they come, we do all the games, and my husband has a lot of scary stuff. He scares the kids. Then they get to exit the party by all going trick-or-treating together, which is a lot of fun. And that way your party has like an end time, because sometimes when you have a party, just so you guys know, if you're having a party at your house, you want to be very specific with an end time if it's going to be something big like a 4th of July or even a birthday party, because not always, like parents sometimes drop off their kids and don't know when to pick them up, or they overstay or understay. Like I always say the more the merrier. However, it can become like kids can like get anxious too if their parents aren't picking them up like in the time that they thought that their parents should be there. So that's just my Jenna tips for like having kids parties. I do say that in my experience, all the thousands of parties I've thrown over the years, that you definitely, if you want it to be simple, you would, I would say, do it at a place. Like we go to Urban Air, we go to Sky High, we've got Chuck E. Cheese, obviously, Jonathan Pizza, whatever, they like that place. So just doing things like that. There's a lot of venues that have party places, and it's just you just pay them, and that's you don't have to worry about the mess and things. Now, as myself and how particular my kids are, I still end up. You can bring some decorations, you can bring your own goodie bags, you can bring your own cake, things like that. So that's always cool. So that's kind of my party tips for anybody that's doing their parties, and to just be mindful of how many people you invite. I really like people to RSVP and try to make it fun for them to RSVP, because a lot of times people don't RSVP anymore. And usually it's okay if they don't show up, but what happens is always plan for whoever you invite, because we learned that really early on with Cooper's birthday party. We had it at a pizza party, a pizza place, but we had a private room with a glow party, and I mean it was a big event for his birthday, and a lot of people didn't RSVP, And then not only did they not RSVP, but then they brought extra people, which is more the merrier. That's not a problem. But and I had plenty of gifts and everything. The party room wasn't big enough, so that was disappointing. So everybody couldn't be in the party room at the same time, which made it hard for like the happy birthday song. But other than that, I mean, everybody had a great time because it's an event where they get to go and ride rides and play video games, and that was all fun. So just make sure that you're planful. And I always say, like, what I'm starting to do now is I'm using a guest book so people can sign my guest book, and that way it makes it easier for me if I have their actual email and their phone numbers, to where I know that if they come to a party before, they're Cooper's friend or Peyton's friend, then I'll be able to invite them again. Because sometimes, like, what happens is in elementary school when they switch classes, what I usually do is just have the kids invite whoever's in their class, you know, give everybody in the class an invitation. I don't want someone to be left out. But now as they're getting older, like Cooper, some of his friends are in different classrooms and they're still friends, and so now it's like, oh, do you invite the whole grade? How do you do that? And it gets more complicated. So having a guest book at your parties is a very, very good tip. And I have decided, I told my husband, I'm just going to keep a guest book in our house for anybody that comes over for any of our events, and that way I always have a way to contact them for future events. Because that's one thing, I hate it when I hear something like, oh, I didn't know you had a party, or, you know, because to me it's like, you're always invited. You're our friend, you're our, you know, coworker, or you're, you know, Cooper's or Peyton's friend, then we want you here and we want you to have a good time. So that's one thing that is really sometimes makes me sad, is when I hear like, oh, I didn't know you're having a party. And you know, most people that know me now, they know it's always going to have a Halloween party. We're always going to have a 4th of July party. The kids are always going to have their birthday parties. Now, any other parties throughout the year, those, you know, are hit and miss. Like, we sometimes do, we sometimes don't. Depends on if we're vacationing, because we usually take a couple vacations a year. So that's already 6 events out of the year, which is a lot of planning for me as a parent, as well as I have, you know, we work. We don't get to just play. So, so that's just my little spiel. And I hope everybody has a safe, happy Halloween.